Hi, and welcome back to Common Rooms channel. I'm Louise, I'm an illustrator, and today I'm gonna be walking you through my process of making a simple GIF or animation. So first, disclaimer lang, I'm not really an animator, and to be honest, there's a lot of ways on how you can animate or make GIFs. For me, nagustuhan ko lang siya because I like seeing pictures move, parang Harry Potter ganon. Yung mga framed photos ng Harry Potter. It's more something na extra in your illustrations or para mabigyang buhay yung illustrations mo. For this tutorial or walkthrough, we're gonna be using two tools. The first one is Procreate to draw and then Photoshop to animate. So when I do an animation, I usually have a 3-step process. Ito yung mostly ginagawa ko when I'm handling a project or making a short GIF or animation. So the first one is to conceptualize. Then, dito mo iisipin, ano nga ba yung i-drawing mo? Ano yung gusto mong gumalaw? Second is to draw. Pag nalista mo na yung lahat ng gusto mong mangyari, you sit down and then you draw everything and all the layers. Yung layers mo, yung pinakakailangan mo to be able to animate. And then, the third part is working sa computer, the animation part. So, we're gonna be using Photoshop later para i-stitch together lahat ng pinag-draw mo. So, first part is the concept. For this one, I did a quick sketch in my notebook para may visual style. To be honest, ako more on lista ako as a person. So, I rely more on words. For today, we're gonna be making a looping GIF na Christmas card style. Something you can send to friends over email or chat. Right now, we can't really go out to meet people for Christmas parties, ganon. For the concept part, I list down the elements I need to draw and I separate them into two. First is yung non-moving, and then second is yung moving. For this, yung concept ko is meron tayong snow globe, and my non-moving elements will be the globe itself, and then baka may Christmas tree, then may bahay, snowflakes, and yung text para magmukha siyang card. And then for my moving elements, I want na merong falling snow or nagsishake na snow inside. And then maybe we could make the smoke dun sa chimney move kahit walang snow sa Pilipinas. And then last is yung lights or a star sa Christmas tree na parang iilaw. So second part is drawing. Ito yung matagal na part. I start with the basic shapes for the sketch para makita lang yung layout. So, usually bilog, triangle, ganun lang siya. Then, I do line art and then color each element para mas kita sila and para mapaganda siya. Then, I usually start with the non-moving elements. And when that's done, I move on dun sa animated elements. As I said earlier, para makapag-animate ka, kailangan mo ng frames. Then, for illustrations, yung frames mo will be your layers. So, you need to have a different layer for every item that you want to appear or hide. Wala, yun na yung concept ng buong animation. To make things move, kailangan mo to stitch together multiple frames. So, it's very important to label or group your layers. I'm someone who doesn't really label per layer kasi ang dami and nakakatamad siyang gawin. But what I do is, I group layers and I label that. Ito, meron akong one group for the star, one group for the lights, one group for the snowflakes. And then, para ma-distinguish ko kung ano yung gagalaw, usually I use all caps para sa label ng moving. And then, I do laps lock lang na label dun sa non-moving. Animation for me is really like an advanced collage. And then, yung layers, yung elements mo. Kailangan lang talaga na organize sila para hindi ka mahirapan later on when you move the file to the computer. Third part is the animation. So, today we'll be using Photoshop. So, the first thing you should do is you export your Procreate file as a Photoshop file and move it sa computer. Then, once you're done with this, you open your Photoshop file. For me, ang una kong ginagawa is I look at all my layers again. And then, I recolor groups na I plan to move para easier silang hanapin. Sometimes, I adjust. Aayusin ko yung layout, ganon, kasi baka hindi pantay. I don't really rely on rulers sa Procreate, so sometimes I do that in Photoshop na. And then, for here, I'm recoloring some things like the smoke sa chimney kasi obvious siya sa Procreate pero hindi siya ganong kakita sa when you move it sa computer. And then to start animation, you need to open the animation window. And then there's gonna be two types. One is frame by frame animation and then video timeline. For today, we'll be using yung frame by frame animation. So click mo lang siya. Don't get intimidated. Simple lang talaga to kahit na maraming buttons na nandyan. All you really have to note is yung play button, yung plus button, and then the trash can. So play is to play, yung nagawa mo na. And then trash is of course to delete the frame. And then plus is to add a frame. So when you're making an animation, it's really just making a new frame by clicking the plus. This will duplicate the last frame you have. Doing this again and again while per frame, nag-hide and unhide ka ng layers na gusto mong makita. So yun, you just really add a new frame and then you click on the layer that you want to show and then you add a new frame again and you hide or show a layer. So example for the star, palaalakihin natin siya and then kanina we draw the star in different sizes. There's gonna be one frame for every layer na lumalaki siya. And then there are other tools like reverse frames para lumiit naman yung star. You just really experiment and try showing, hiding, and unhiding different layers para mabuo yung animation. Then the last step, of course, is to export your file. There! And this is the final output. So that's how you make a GIF or a short animation using Procreate and Photoshop. So I'm sorry because kulang siya ng details, but I still hope you did learn something out of it. So for me talaga, it's more on learning by trial. Mag-experiment ka lang. I only learned this by watching a lot of YouTube tutorials, so you can check that out. And then there's also other programs that you can use. So in animation, the thing you really need to do is to observe other things. So minsan, pag tulala ka, pansinin mo lang yung mga bagay-bagay. Tapos, maybe you can apply that when you draw. Like, yung pag-ikot ng electric fan, ganon, yung steam ng kape. Like, small everyday things. And then, you'll see that everything is actually moving kahit papano. Like, the ticking of the clock. And then, maybe you can apply those when you draw later on. I hope you got to learn something out of this. Yan, experiment ka lang and try. Common Room has a Patreon account as well. So, I hope you can check that out. We have makers interviews in art and business. Link will be below. And yun, thank you again for watching and bye!